Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Fallout Friday again. Welcome back to Starlight Drive In. Today we're going to be working on our Learning and Enrichment Centre. Hope you enjoy. So, we're over in the one remaining large gap. And a fairly simple build, really. Same basic principle as the commissary on the other side. So, nice, quick and easy. Or at least it rather would have been if I hadn't managed to delete my first recording of this and have to, tear everything down, re-record it all. Which was very frustrating. So, we're going to attempt the power doors again, and as you can see they're somewhat awkward, or at least this one is. The other one goes on just fine. It's rather close to the ground, this one, so possibly the closest down of the lot of them, so I assume that's what it is. On the other hand, I've had the same problem in much higher up locations, so I have no idea really. It's just evil like that. So this is going to be a sort of place to increase your skills, learn new skills, so that when our prisoners leave and go back out into the world, they can contribute more and have more productive lives. So I've got a few more windows in this one, and I'll make it a bit more pleasant environment to improve their education in. That's why we're dividing it up into several rooms down here. So this space will be a workshop. On the other side of the wall behind us is going to be a gym, largely because I'm struggling for anywhere else to put one, and both of these things are relatively common features in prisons. And upstairs is going to be the more education oriented area. There's a library going in and a schoolroom, lecture room type thing. So we have a bit of a different layout up here. Largely because I didn't want two staircases in the building. Didn't make much sense to have the entrance to the school area sort of inside the gym, really. So yeah, one staircase, which is why I'm working on a sort of corridor here, which is a bit awkward and a little bit narrow, but any wider in the space that will become the library, which is sort of what we're looking at on the left here, would be too small, and the corridor actually looks a bit wide then. Whereas like that, it's the same width as the half-width pieces from the warehouse, those ones. You see, yeah, it's going to look better when we move it back. Although, because we're trying to move it into an open space, I haven't got anything to snap it to. It's being awkward. So there's your first pro tip of the day. Make sure that when you're trying to put internal walls on with the concrete, at the very least, you've got something to snap them to. There we go. I did start off with the half thickness walls, but again I had the opposite problem there. Made the corridor very, very narrow. Essentially one concrete pillar wider, 4 wide. So like I say, close the gap down too much. So, that right there would be the bare bones of the building. Get some railings on so I don't fall down. I don't think I actually did fall down, which I was quite pleased about. Ended up glitching that door into place, which is why I stuck it down over there. So we're going to get the roof on, have a quick shufty around, and you can see basically the core of the build. However, we are well under 5 minutes here, so I'll show you a little bit more of my furnishing plan. And seeing as that's not the most stimulating footage in the world, I believe, as you Team America fans will probably know, it calls for a montage. So, a little something I wanted to show you. Now we're back in the room. Classroom needs some form of blackboard, which is, without mods, rather difficult. So, I settled for the next best thing, which was to attach something vaguely resembling a whiteboard on the wall. So I wanted something blank and white, which basically meant the back of these signs as being about the only thing I can find. However, as you may be aware, they snap to surfaces. So the simplest solution to turn them around and get them into place is a nice little variant on the pillar glitch like this. So you need a Bethesda-made structure, like that sign, and you need to get them as close together as humanly possible, which this isn't a perfect example, but this one isn't actually going into the build anyway. So, and then, because it's really high, I'm having to use two, we get a pillar nice and close, and use hold all, and we're going to lift them nice and neat off. Actually, it's kind of working a bit like the rug glitch does there. I could just push it straight into the solid object, which was not really part of the plan, but it certainly didn't hurt. As you can see, it's only grabbing the two on the right there, which the final version I actually did had, I think 3x3. Same principle, but yeah, bigger. So we move it down so we get to as close to the final height we want in the room it's going to go into. So that's close enough. We can actually end up with it slightly lower than that, but as I say, you can see the gaps around the edge of the top left one there. You want to really try and avoid it if you want to put several together, but if you want a blank sort of plaque like that, it doesn't really matter so much. I'm going to use the lamp post because it grips to the floor and will fit inside the room, where again the concrete pillar won't, which like last time, and that didn't work either. But as you can see, you just simply manoeuvre it into place. It's gone too far in now, and there we go. Simple as that. That's them facing the other way around. It will work for just about any of the wall decorations, but it's not quite there to say. So, on to our little tour. Let me know what you thought of the little montage episode there. I quite enjoyed doing it. It was a bit of fun, bit of a laugh. Just been sat here grinning like a small child. It's been quite fun. So, first things first, our workshop. As you see, I didn't put all the decoration in there. You may have noticed on the left there, we've got, well, left and right, we've got two types of weapons workbench. I did think about putting power armor stations in, but it didn't really seem to fit with it being a prison. And we can just pretend that because they look different, they're for different things. So basically, you could probably use any of these workbenches for things other than their intended purpose anyway. And we've got some crates from the Vault-Tec DLC in there to, you know, store bits and pieces for use in whatever you might be building. And some toolboxes as well. So this is our classroom. I wanted more of a lecture hall feeling really, but it was just a little beyond what I could do here. And that's our sort of improvised whiteboard. It's not great, but you know, you can sort of scribble on it if you had an appropriate pen, and seeing as normal pens seem to survive the bombs, don't see why marker pens couldn't. See, as per usual there, we've put our wire mesh on. And we come into the library, which I realise looks very, very small, which is, to be fair, a little smaller than I'd liked, but from what I discovered from my research, that's fairly common in prisons actually, that the library space, if available at all, is really quite small, so it kind of makes sense even if it's not ideal. I've just got to close that door. Oops. I do like these little staircases. Neat and tidy, they work well. Like these ones as well, to be fair though. So yeah, place is coming on. As you can see, I've been a little lazy in my tidying up. Concrete pillars are just dumped all over the place. And Hancock shoved in a corner over on the other side. So, our little gym. I realise the powered doors rather not doing much, but you know, fits with the design. All this stuff being from the Vault-Tec DLC, Power cycles aren't actually wired in because I don't really want them as a source of power, just sort of want them there. And yeah, the pommel horse doesn't make much sense either, but we're limited in our availability of gym equipment, so we do what we can. So thank you very much for watching. As always, hit those buttons if you'd like to, and I will speak to you soon. Thank you very much.